This week is the run of bad news in South Africa having a major impact on our image abroad. We'll talk to Brand South Africa as well as a senior government minister. We'll also review an ad that sees a dog licking an ice cream that seems to have the Mother Grundy Brigade up in arms. A very warm welcome to Mags on Media. We're going to start this week with three reports on the scourge of violence in South Africa and most notably the rape pandemic that is horrifying us all. So here's the question. What sort of job is the media doing in this respect and what are our roles and responsibilities? We're joined firstly by Wadim Schreiner from the research and monitoring agency Media Tenor, and he's done some valuable work in this respect. Always good to talk to you, Wadim. Welcome. The general approach that media should be taking when it comes to rape, what is it?
It's a very difficult one because we have to go and weigh up the legal aspects of potentially a case. We have got to go and look at the ethics and reporting about that, considering minors and intrusion into privacy and family aspects. But at the same time, we need to be able to go and get the message out, what kind of a pandemic it is, what is behind a particular story, what are the causes of that one. It's a very, very difficult decision to go and take, and it's something to go and take note of.
I'm going to suggest to you, perhaps at the tabloid end of the media spectrum, that perhaps we are overjuicing this a little bit, that we've become more intrusive, that maybe we're crossing lines that we shouldn't be. Is that an unfair statement?
Of course we are becoming more intrusive, but sometimes you've got to go and bring the pain out, sometimes you've got to go and bring the harsh reality out. We've got photos available, we've got footage available, we've got perhaps details that are going to go and make people want to go and read that. We are bound to go sensational, and we've seen that in other cases, such as Oscar Pistorius.
And that's also been exacerbated by the whole social media spectrum as well.
Absolutely. The role of social media is, of course, it's more emotional than the traditional media that are rational. So we get drawn into the emotional aspects of a particular story. That becomes more sensationalism. And at the same time, we've got to go and make sure that we show compassion to those that have been affected. So it's a very, very thin line, which we have sometimes got right, but sometimes we haven't.
Do we need, perhaps, as an industry, as a sector, to put our foot down on the collective accelerator and perhaps stray into this thing called campaign journalism?
Campaign journalism has very big advantages, and I'm certainly somebody who will not discourage media from doing campaign journalism, because what it does very successfully is to go and raise awareness. Sometimes almost nauseating in terms of the awareness, but it does raise awareness, and that is what we need for people to actually start listening.
But having said that, there's also always that danger of this thing called issue fatigue.
Absolutely. My recommendation there is to go and have short bursts of campaigns, ensuring that they are coming over a period of time but are not too extensive in length at each time, so that people remember the previous one, but it doesn't get that fatigue.
And in conclusion, I understand that we know that news works in cycles, but often what happens, once the case is over, we tend to forget it and we move on to the next thing. Stories like this need to be followed up. I don't think we do that very well.
No, we don't. And I think this is the biggest problem to campaign journalism. This is the biggest problem to all issues that we've been raising in the past, and one that I hope will not have the same fate when it comes to the rape particular aspect. We bring the story because we've got a person, we've got somebody dying, we've got somebody being in the court case. Then the court case closes and the story closes. And it only reopens when we've got another case. And that is the biggest challenge, because for the victims, for those that have suffered, it does not end with the end of the court case. That's when their problems start, and we as journalists should continue that path with them.
This is always going to be a big challenge for newsrooms. Wadim Schreiner from Media Tenor, thank you very much indeed. We're going to stay with the media and rape story, and my colleague Joanne Joseph earlier in the week spoke to Charles Duplessis. He's the editor of Playboy magazine, about a cover that was supposedly an anti-rape message. The publication coming in for some flack.
Playboy South Africa has come under fire from various organisations over its anti-woman abuse campaign. The cover of its latest magazine shows a provocative image of a woman's bare back and buttocks and bears the cover line, "SA Sex Survey, no means no." Gender-based organisations are outraged, though. Playboy editor Charles Duplessis now joins us from our Cape Town studios. Charles, thanks very much for coming into studio this afternoon. I'm just wondering what the picture on this cover has to do with rape.
Rape is a men's issue. the message should be getting out to men. And there's sense that you have fantastic work being done in civil society, and men go about their work or go about their day in a regular fashion. I think the image, I thought I heard you say provocative. Personally, I don't think it's that. It's aesthetically quite beautiful, in line with what Playboy's done for many years, sophisticated nudity. And the idea was really to get men to see the central message that no means no, and only yes means yes.
In my opinion, this cover is much too beautiful, as you say, to actually get that message of rape out. Let's face it, there is nothing beautiful about rape.
I think I agree with you that the level of abuse and violence and femicide in this country is actually horrifying. Personally, I find that back cover far more interesting.
Let's just have a look at that cover entitled "You Can Help End Violence Against Women," and you've got a lot of something that looks almost like a spider diagram there, but there were four aspects of it that interested me particularly. You've got the one heading that says "Breakout, challenge traditional images of manhood that keep you from taking a stand." And then on the right, you've got a heading "Step Up" that says "Do not tolerate disrespecting or the degradation of women." And then at the bottom, you've got two interesting ones. "Look in the mirror. Do your own attitudes and actions help support the objectification and devaluing of women and girls?" And then you've got "Be a model. Mentor a boy, teach boys with your words and actions that being a man means respecting women." Now, many people would argue that in order for you to sell pornography to the public and to a heterosexual male readership, you need to maintain that balance that results in the degradation of women, that results in the objectification of women, that results in traditional images of manhood.
Playboy stands for a mature, respectful sexual enjoyment by both males and females. Let's get very clear on that. We see Playboy very much as part of the solution, kind of men learning how to deal with their sexual impulses in a mature and responsible fashion.
And finally, on the issue of rape and the media, this year's winners of the South African leg of the Cinemark Young Lions Competition have been revealed. Youngsters in the advertising industry were asked to come up with a commercial drawing attention to the subject. The winners were Roberto Adamo and Allman from the Havas Worldwide agency. Here's the winning entry. also see the ad on our Facebook page and post your comments. And coming up on the program, South Africa's bad news year. What impact has this had on our global image abroad?